This is Singapore, a city-state of 5.7 million people. Like any city-sized country, Singapore needs water, a lot of it. Like enough water to fill 82 Olympic-sized swimming pools a day. Unfortunately, unlike Minecraft, water is not infinite, so where does Singapore get its water from? Singapore gets its water from desalinated water, Newater, Malaysia, and the rest comes from reservoirs and rivers. These sources make up Singapore's 4 national taps. So basically, Singapore uses treated seawater, pea water, rain, drain, river water, and Malaysian water. Let's focus on Malaysian water. How did Singapore end up in this situation? Unfortunately, Malaysia did not just give Singapore the water out of kindness. Instead, an agreement had to be signed. This agreement was signed on the 29th of September 1962, and it is called the Johor River Water Agreement. But we'll just call it the Water Agreement because saying Johor River Water Agreement is a mouthful. Under this agreement, Singapore was allowed to draw this much water from the Johor River. In return, Johor is entitled to this much treated water from Singapore. How much is Singapore paying for this water? About this much. What this means is that the cost of 10 bathtubs worth of raw, untreated river water is only 1 Singapore cent. In return, Malaysia pays Singapore 16 Singapore cents for the same amount of clean, treated water.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Why is Singapore paying so low? Well, that's because Singapore said that it bore the full cost of treating the water along with other infrastructure costs, and is even letting Johor buy the water at a discount. So Singapore felt that it was only fair that they pay less. Unfortunately, not all good things last, and this agreement ends in 2061. As you can guess, the water agreement is a source of conflict between the two nations. For example, Malaysian Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman implied that if Singapore was getting a little too cozy with Indonesia, Malaysia was going to cut off the water. Fast forward 24 years and it is now 1986. Malaysia was given their one and only option of a price review, but they declined, thinking that Singapore would also review the price of treated water. But I mean, as Singapore is having such a good deal, you can see why they wouldn't want to. In 1990, another agreement was signed, also expiring in 2061. Under this new agreement, Singapore was allowed to construct and draw water from the Linggau Reservoir, with Singapore bearing the full cost along with other compensation costs. The Linggau Reservoir is about 56 Bedok reservoirs in area. 8 years later, Singapore began negotiating with Malaysia to extend the water agreement for 100 years. So now it expires in 2161. In return, Malaysia initially asked to increase the raw water price to this much. However, Malaysia was not happy with it and kept on increasing the price. In 2002, this was the final price Malaysia wanted. That is a 213 times increase in price from the original agreement. A very crude comparison is like a bottle of water now costing $213. Singapore obviously said no and decided to give up on its goal to extend both agreements beyond 2061. In the aftermath of the failed agreement, Singapore created the new policy of the 4 national taps. The goal is for Singapore to achieve self-sufficiency in its water supply before 2061, so that Singapore no longer has to depend on Malaysia for water. Today, imported water from Malaysia still faces some issues. In recent years, the water level in the Linggau Reservoir has dropped drastically, with the reservoir hitting 20% capacity in October 2016. PUB also had to shut down their Johor River Water Works in 7 pollution incidents since 2017. In 2018, Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad wanted to renegotiate the price of water once again. He described the water agreement as morally wrong and said that Singapore as a rich nation should not depend on the poor. However, next year, Singapore reaffirmed that Malaysia lost the right to review the water price. By 2060, Singapore's total water demand could almost double. By then, Newater and desalination will meet up to 85% of Singapore's water demand. So that means that by 2060, 85% of Singapore's water is from seawater or pea water. And to think that all of this started because Malaysia and Singapore could not agree on the price of water.